And then McKinnon too was good.
Yeah.
I was just listening to it. He
Uh,
said he thinks Barry's going to be so good in Edmonton. Like, this was, I guess, before the season. Who knows? Let me mute the stream here. What's up, Chief? What's going on, man?
Demko is confirmed.
Demko? Yeah. My
Yep.
boy. I was like making like hand building some lineups today because I do like Vancouver won again tonight. And I'm like, dude, Demko's 7,400. It's a pretty good price. Oh, Cam's already in here that early.
Wolf's already in here.
What's up,
Of
Wolf?
course. Shocker.
Wolf's been refreshing the stream. Good morning. Good morning. It's like it's afternoon for us here.
Afternoon,
You
yeah.
must be out west. I think it's like 2-3 hour time difference out there. Something I want to do in my life, go out west for sure. I know during the pandemic, like a lot of people I was talking to, like people from home, like we're all just driving out west just to see like the mountains and the view and everything. But it's like a
Out
1 day
east
drive.
looks beautiful too, like Halifax.
Yeah, you just want to hang out with McKinnon and Crosby. That's
Yeah,
all it is.
that's exactly it.
Panthers won.
Panthers won.
It's just it's gonna be fun tonight. I got one. I'm doing 3 enforcer lineups tonight too.
Oh,
Have to.
already reserved mine.
Your enforcers,
Yeah.
and then you're doing the $12.
No, I didn't do a single entry today, just the juke.
Oh, 20 juke and 3 enforcer.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's
Yeah, yeah,
actually a good there's actually a good $5 single entry contest that gives
yeah.
like 2K to first.
I saw that. Yeah, we'll answer your add or drop questions for sure. We'll do our best to manage both today with our Draftkings stuff and the season long, because I do know a lot of our content is season long, so I don't mind answering. What's going on,
Up
Jax?
Jacks.
We'll wait for a couple more people to get in here and we'll get started. It's kind of a long slate tonight. Lots to talk about.
Yeah, I need some fucking sunglasses or something. I just threw an
Yeah,
F-bomb.
it's
I
okay.
apologize.
It's okay. That's the
I,
second F bomb we've had on stream.
the the sun is like beaming in from from my window here. I need some blinds or something or some shades.
Yeah, absolutely. Your kiss is all it takes. Did you play last night?
I did not. I stayed off the one game.
Me too. I'm just not a fan of that because you have to get so lucky.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like the fourth line will have like a goal and then it'll be like just the like best filler line or something.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Oh my god.
Konechny looks like he's actually benched Wolf, so
Um.
I'm gonna take him out of my out of my lineup
Activates
tonight.
blocks. I have to drop Tatar Fiala to bring Ovi off IR eventually. Also have Suzuki, Larkin, Russ. Drop Tatar and keep upside of Kevin boarding school Fiala. Shut up. Man, that's a hard decision. Who are your D? Like, God, I don't know if I would even drop Tatar or Fiala, but I mean, if you have to, probably Fiala over Tatar, I would say. It's hard though. Sup, everyone watching the
I'd
Sabres
drop
game?
Tatar personally.
Yeah, it's because you're a Leafs fan.
That it has nothing to do with that.
Drop Kubalik to bring Pasta back. That's unreal. I'm so happy he's back.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a trade why he's sitting. I read that he was complaining about like management and I guess like the minutes he's playing or I guess where the team's at right now. I'm not entirely sure what's happening with the whole bench.
Yeah, just apparently it's just like an internal thing, Jax. Like it's not it's I don't think it has to do with a trade or anything.
Yeah, neither do I. All right, we'll get started. We have 17 people in here. We have a long slate to talk about tonight. All right, guys. So first game, Panthers Red Wings. This is going to be a fun one. We were kind of just talking about it in the pre-show. The Panthers won. They look amazing tonight. And I was doing some digging just before we started the stream here. looks like they've had some very good numbers to begin this season, that Panthers line. And they're projected very well. Duclair and Verhaeghe are both under 4K today, which is really good. And I know I'll let you talk about Barkov and our outlook on him for tonight's game, and I guess for season long, if he continues his production. But looking over at the second line here, I don't mind them. They are a bit pricey, and I know a lot of people have been taking Hornquist just because of his power play one, and I get it. Like, it's hard to lay off of someone that's on a pretty good offensive team like the Panthers, and also getting power play one time, and playing alongside Huberdeau. So I don't mind the second line here, but I think if I'm going anywhere tonight, I'm going to be hammering that first line. It's a pretty easy matchup against the Larkin Bertuzzi line. They're not too sound defensively. I wish I saw Mantha up there too, because he just brings the defense down a little bit as well. But yeah, Panthers 1 and 2 are probably one of the best plays on the slate tonight. They project well. They have great value. You can fit them with a lot of your stacks. So I definitely like them tonight. And then on the defensive side here, there's not too much I like. I get Ekblad's fine. He plays a lot of minutes, but he's just too pricey for my liking. And I just think there's other plays on the slate at that price tag that's a little bit better than him and project better than him. And then Mackenzie Weegar is someone I liked in the 3K range. He does play a bunch of minutes, but seeing him up at 4K, I think there's just better options we can find tonight. And then Bobrovsky, is this the night he finally doesn't let in 5 goals on 15 shots? We'll see.
We'll see.
But I'm not going to have too much Bob at that price. I know it's a good matchup against the Wings, but I mean, the Wings are going to probably score 2 or 3 goals tonight, so not too high on Bobrovsky.
I definitely agree. Like, until we see a little bit of consistency from Bob there, I think even though it's a good matchup, he's just a little too expensive for me. I think there's better options on the slate tonight. I'm completely off the Panthers D. I really don't like any of them. Even like Yandel's hard to justify, even though he gets power play one time, just because he doesn't get as many minutes as he's previously seen.
Yep.
But I think I agree with the line one take. Barkov has had you let me do it because I have the jersey on, right?
That's why.
Sure. Okay. 19 shots in 4 games. He's got 1 goal, 3 assists. It looks like he's off to a great start. That line has been clicking right off the bat as well. So definitely going to get to some of them, as well as line 2 gets you a little bit of power play correlation as well with Wennberg and Hornquist. And of course, Jonathan Huberdeau is your big ticket item on that line, who also will have a favorable matchup against pretty much anybody that he sees tonight. So definitely going to have some Panthers tonight. They're a slam dunk for me. I think just because of their price, they're just so versatile. You can put them with pretty much any other top line, and it's a solid fill option.
Yeah, I think the ownership is going to be there tonight, but like we'll talk about it more as the slate goes on. But there are a lot of really good matchups tonight that should leave some ownership away from the Panthers. So we'll see. Hopping over to the wing side, I mean, it's just there's so much question marks with this lineup. I'm pretty sure this first line has actually been relatively good, 5-on-5. There are going to be goals scored tonight against the Panthers, so I think if you're going anywhere tonight, you probably have to go with the first line. I just think it's hard to ignore Larkin's shot volume, as well as his goal and point upside in any given night. I think the Panthers are a pretty favorable matchup. They're pretty bad defensively. They give up a lot of chances. They give up a lot of chances on the power play as well. So definitely going to have some Red Wings 1 tonight. I can see myself getting to some of the second line. Again, they're really cheap. I like Mantha at the 4K price tag. I just think Mantha is like so overlooked. I don't know what Blashill's doing. Like, I just want like Larkin, Bertuzzi have like really, really good 5-on-5 numbers, but for some reason he's splitting them up. But I mean, it's so easy to nitpick when I'm just looking at numbers and not actually watching them play in the game. But I would love to see Mantha back up in that top line. And I don't think you can go wrong with taking a power play 1 stack to get the Larkin, Bertuzzi, Mantha correlation. You definitely can't go wrong with that. On the D side, I just don't think at all this year we're going to see any Detroit defense that are eye-popping in value or projections for us. So again, I'm going to be off just the Red Wings defenseman as a whole tonight. And Greiss is not bad. It's just the Wings give up so many opportunities. They take a lot of penalties. They're going to be in their own end a lot. So I just can't see myself getting to too much Grice. The only reason why is because I do a lot of lineups. So just to get contrarian in some of my lineups, I'll definitely have some Grice.
I think if you're not doing like the min max where you're putting in under 50 lineups, it's hard to get to some Red Wings tonight. I just think like there's a lot of better plays on the slate, but there are some pretty pricey top lines tonight, so which we'll get to later. So just keep in mind like they could be a good filler option. I don't think Florida is by any means good defensively. They give up their chances just as much as they have their opportunities. So keep an eye on that. Like definitely, if anything, I'm probably getting to the first line. I think Larkin Bertuzzi just holds a little bit more in terms of upside for me than just taking Mantha. And is Bobby Ryan back? Like he's been doing well on that Red Wings top six there, but it's hard for me to get to him playing with Nemesky in front of them, and we know that Mantha's pretty bad defensively, and especially if they go up against the Huberdeau line, I think that line definitely is going to see the majority of the scoring chances. So off the D as well, I don't think unless you're doing like a power play one stack, I don't think Hronek is really your
So
best play at 4,700. Yeah, and then Christian Juice is like I guess a punt defenseman. I don't know, the 2,500 min price. I'm sure I'd rather just go up to somebody for like 2,600. I'm sure there's better plays on the slate. And then yeah, Grice is good, but I think Florida's going to have a lot of scoring chances tonight, so I'm probably off him as well.
Yeah, I'm just doing some quick research here before we move on. Looks like that Mantha line gave up 3 goals last game and had 7 scoring chances against and 1 for. So they're struggling right now. Definitely keep an eye out for the Wings lineups. I'm not sure if these are confirmed, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Mantha move up. All right, Flames Canadiens. Probably one of my favorite games tonight to watch. I'm not sure how excited I am about DraftKings, but this Tkachuk Lindholm Levo line, they had a really solid game 5-on-5 against the Canadiens. I was trying to just do some research here into the line matching, and it looks like it was pretty even. So the Danault line did match against the Lindholm and Monahan line. And we all know that the Danault is such a good defensive center, so it is a tough matchup going against him 5-on-5. But definitely like the Flames one here. They're pricing them like appropriately. I feel like, I mean, Tkachuk's a little pricey at 7,400, but I don't think they're overpriced or underpriced by any means. They've been pretty good 5-on-5. I know Tkachuk does bring a lot of those scoring chances from him being in front of the net, and we see the same thing with Brady too. But definitely like the Flames one here tonight. Also like Flames too. The Canadiens have been taking some penalties. They do look good on the penalty kill, but I mean, most teams give up at least 15 to 20% on the penalty kill if you're like top in the league. So I do think Flames 2 is good tonight. I think you can get different with it, and you don't have to play the full line with Levo or Simone. I think you can, take Tkachuk, Gaudreau, Monahan, or even Tkachuk, Lindholm, Monahan, Gaudreau, and get kind of different, especially because they all have the power play correlations. And then the third line here is not bad. I do think the Canadiens' third line's actually, they've been really good this year, so it is kind of a tough matchup. And then on the defensive side, so Rasmus Andersson at 5,100. He scored last game. I don't mind it. You guys know I love him in like season-long fantasy. He's my boy. But I just think for DraftKings, he doesn't provide enough shots and blocks for me to get overly excited at a 5K price tag. And the matchup's pretty unfavorable tonight against the Canadiens. But Markstrom, 7,200. Like, the Canadiens shoot a lot. And Markstrom's a good goalie. So I'm definitely going to get to some Markstrom tonight.
We saw
Wait, one sec. My
David
sound
Riddick.
is too low. Is my sound too low?
I don't hear anything. Maybe just like turn yourself up a little bit in your OBS settings there, but I'm not hearing any issues.
Oh, man.
You want to do like a quick sound check?
I guess I am a little low, eh? Okay, let me give this a little rise. Am I getting louder? Am I getting louder?
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Okay, maybe it's definitely something from your OBS settings there, because you sound fine in Discord and
Yeah.
okay. Maybe I'm just loud, guys. That could be it.
I don't hear. Maybe just turn yourself up. You want to do like a quick sound check?
I guess I am a little low, eh? It's a little rise. Am I getting louder? Am I getting louder?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. Go ahead.
All right.
Maybe it's definitely something from your OBS section.
My gain's pretty low. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. March number 7200. I think it's a great price for him. The one thing that we did see in the last game is Rittich did start, so that's probably a little bit why the Flames were losing that game 4-2. And if you're hoping for a bounce back from the Flames here, you're looking at the other end of the ice and you're seeing Jake Allen in net, and you're seeing, okay, that's not Carey Price, so. Maybe we'll have a little bit more success in terms of production and scoring, but I do like the Gaudreau line. I think him and Monahan, especially, just being around the same price, you don't have to worry about paying up for Tkachuk at 7,400, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Dominic Simone obviously brings that price down as well. It'd be nice to see like Mangiapane on that line. I know you're a big advocate of him, and I think he deserves a top 6 spot, but it's just like they're splitting their lines. Even if they like loaded up one line, I would be a little bit more enticed to get to some Flames tonight. But I think getting to the Tkachuk line is just a little bit too difficult with him being 7,400. I think there's better options tonight for sure. And then in terms of D, Rasmus Anderson 5,100. If you're getting a little weird and you're doing some power play 1 stacks or some just taking like the big 4 from the Flames there, you could probably fit some Anderson in just to correlate your power play.
Mm-hmm.
I want to check quickly to see. Okay, all 4 of them are on the first power play with Rasmus Anderson. So even if you take them in 2 separate stacks, definitely make sure you have a little bit of Rasmus Anderson mixed in with your lineups there, just for that correlation.
Yeah, and they are pricey, so you're gonna have to pay down with your other 2 stack. Hopefully the volume's a bit better, guys. So jumping over to the Canadian side, so I like Canadiens 1 every night. They're really good 5-on-5. They were really good 5-on-5 last year. So I'm definitely going to have some Canadiens 1. They project well. The value's there. Paying 15.6 for a first line is pretty affordable. And paying 15.7 for the second line here is also pretty affordable. I really like the second line. They've been producing a bunch of scoring chances. They've looked really good. They are going up against a Monahan line for the majority of the games, which is a pretty favorable matchup for the second line here. So I'm probably going to have a little bit more of the second line than the first line. And I do know they are a bit more expensive, like I guess 100, and they are the second line. But Boudreau loves to, or is it Julian? I get them mixed up every time. I think it's Julian. Julian loves to roll the lines. So, like, although they're second line, they play 18 minutes, and the first line plays like 17, 18 minutes as well. So you definitely can't go wrong taking Canadiens 2. And I know Canadiens 3 has been getting a lot of love recently, but Tyler Toffoli at 5,600 tonight. He's 600 less than 500 less than Johnny Gaudreau. I won't be getting to any of this Canadiens 3. I just can't pay up $12K for a third line on any slate. And then the defensive side, again, Petrie's just way too expensive. I just can't believe he's almost at 7K in like the Yossi territory now. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong, but not many Canadiens D I like tonight. There's always one, like Sherrod at 3,100, but not too high on the Canadiens D tonight. And then I do like Jake Allen a little bit. I'm going to have him with some of my Canadian stack.
I think like we've seen Romanov come back down to earth after like a really hot start, and even though his minutes are high, like his peripherals are kind of hovering in the average at best range. Haven't quite seen the production from him as of late. Jeff Petrie at 6,800. Are you kidding me? That is approaching Roman Yossi territory. So
I think it is Roman Yossi territory.
Yeah, it's close. Oh my! There's no way.
We'll see.
There's no way that price is right.
Just go.
No. Okay. Oh my, Mike. Never mind. Okay, we'll get to that later. I can't believe what I just saw. Shea Weber 6,100. I mean, like if you're going to anybody, it's probably him. I agree with the Tyler Toffoli pricing. Like he's been good, but I don't think he warrants that price just yet. like the line has been good. It's just that Corey Perry's been like actually putting up some points ever since he's gotten into the lineup for the Canadiens. So we'll see how that third line goes. I just think that like with Toffoli bringing that price up, it's hard to get to them as a filler, even though they're only $12K there. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But Toffoli's price just like it'd be so nice if he was still like around 5K, even under 5K. But the Drew and Suzuki Anderson line is my favorite line when it comes to the Canadiens. I just think they've been clicking as of late. Drew started producing a little bit more, and the chemistry on that line is just insane. So if anything, I'm getting some Canadiens too tonight. I know Mike is a big advocate of the first line, but I like the second line.
Yeah. Guys, I know you want to hear my voice at full volume. It's okay. I get it.
Mike, start yelling.
Yeah, I'm going to start screaming. Hit that like button, boys. Hell yeah. Love that. Thank God Luke Glendening isn't the second line center tonight. Yeah, you're right. Cool to see Levo getting some time on the first line. Yeah, I don't know how the line's been actually like producing at a decent rate in their short sample size. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. Gonna have to ban Nick Brunetta in the chat here, I think. Dubois for Pettersson. I mean, if you're getting Pettersson, definitely try to tell everyone to buy low on Pettersson last week, and now he's doing super good. So, all right, Stars Hurricanes. So the Stars pricing super inflated tonight. Their ownership has been really high, so I don't mind the second line. Like they were pretty good last game. They are pretty cheap. They're going to see a decent amount of minutes, but the first line here, I just think it's too pricey for me. And given this matchup against the Hurricanes, who are a pretty good defensive team, I just think the biggest concern with the Hurricanes, and I think this was pretty evident for them last year, is they took a ton of penalties. So they had a lot of time on the power play. But something we did talk about before the show was the Stars have scored a goal on the power play every 2.8 minutes this year, and the league average is about 7 or 8. So we're going to see some regression on the Stars. I think they are a little too pricey for my liking. The value is just not there for me. I think you can do a little bit better at that price tag. And then on the defensive side here, Heiskanen 5K is not bad. He does have blocks, does have shots, and he does play a lot of minutes, but I just think the matchup's kind of hard. So I will get to a little bit of Stars and a little bit of Heiskanen, but I'm not too excited about this game today. And then Hudobin 8,100. It's not bad. Stars limit the chances. They limit shots and everything. So, yeah, give me some Stars 1, but not too much, just a little bit.
A little bit. Well, I'm gonna start by shouting out hometown boy here, Ty Dellandrea. He got his first NHL goal. Guy went to my high school, so he's a hometown guy there, and looks like he's seeing some success with Dallas, which is nice to see. So shout out to Ty there. Congrats, buddy. I like Heiskanen for 5K. Klingberg for 5,600. He's had points in his last 4 games, and the thing with Klingberg is that if he doesn't see that point production, he's not getting his value. He doesn't shoot the puck a lot. He doesn't block the puck a lot. Like, his peripherals aren't great, so you're pretty much hoping that Dallas goes off again and he has another like 2 or 3 point night. But so just be wary of that. I think Heiskanen's just a better go-to there in terms of his peripherals and his floor for sure. But yeah, I'm still convinced that Dallas doesn't know how to score. I don't know how how line up without Jamie Benn or Tyler Seguin is
out
scoring.
too.
Yeah, scoring like 7 goals a game. Like, it's a little bit far-fetched for me. So I'm probably fading the Stars tonight, and I'm okay with that. If they go off again, like, I will gladly eat my words, but I just think the regression is definitely coming, and the Hurricanes are a good team.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm okay with fading them tonight.
I'm just doing some research here. I actually don't think I like Dallas at all, so I'm on board with you. Except for Heiskanen. Heiskanen's always good. So Hurricane side, I'm just doing some research here on the Hurricanes. Looks like they were pretty good against the Lightning last game, which is a brutal matchup. I feel like it's them playing against the Lightning is similar to them playing against the Stars, where both teams have a bunch of skill, and I mean obviously they were in the playoffs against each other last year. So, but yeah, Hurricanes won. They were really really good 5-on-5 last game, and McGinn down at 2,500. It definitely helps bring the value of the line up. And then Aho played a bunch of minutes on the power play as well last game. So I actually like Hurricanes won quite a bit here. I didn't realize how good they've been 5-on-5, and I mean if they can get some luck on the power play or a couple goals on the power play, this could be a pretty good unowned stack. I can't see them getting any ownership tonight. So definitely gonna have some Hurricanes 1, and I actually like Hurricanes 2 as well. Seems like they were really efficient 5-on-5. Trocheck and Niederreiter are both in the first power play unit right now. So they have that power play 1 correlation, as well as Aho and Svechnikov with the power play 1 correlation. So, I mean, you can power play stack them. You can take them as full 3-3 lines. There's quite a bit you can do with this Hurricanes team today. And I do like Dougie Hamilton at 6,300. He's a guy that, in his career has been one of the highest volume shooters for any defenseman. So I think Hamilton is fine at 6,300. He's someone you can pair with your Hurricane stack, and he's also someone you can one off, because he's a guy that'll get you 5 shots, 2 blocks on any given slate without blinking an eye.
Love me some Dougie. I think even with his price down at 6,300, he's actually not the best value D on the slate, though. We will be approaching him very, very shortly. But Peter Mrazek and Ned at 7,800, like, you're just, the only thing you're really worried about is if Dallas ends up scoring 7. Other than that, they should shoot a lot. I think it's just going to be a one-sided affair here with the Hurricanes. It honestly could be a low event game just based on the way that the Stars play, but the Hurricanes, like you said, have been good at 5-on-5, have had a good start. I love the second line. Trocheck was one of my sleeper picks this year. I think the guy's an absolute stud, and he should continue to see success with Niederreiter and Nietzsche on that second line, as well as the first line. Like whenever I see Aho and Svechnikov together, I get so excited. I'm tripping over my words. That's how excited I am. But Brock McGinn brings the price down, and Svech is definitely one of the better goal scorers in the league and has had a really good start, as well as Aho's been kind of slow out of the gate, but like that line has been good at 5-on-5, like Mike said. So I'm definitely getting to some of them and the second line tonight.
Yeah, any news on Teravainen tonight? I don't know if he's in or out, or who knows. Chief, sign up for the Patreon. Highly recommend it. Yep, you guys get access to this sheet, and we have another really cool tool that we just finished yesterday. So that's gonna be being released on our Patreon, and the link for that's in our description. I think Darlene, who gets more points? Darlene, yeah, Darlene definitely in that group. Chief's happy. That's good to hear, Chief. Don't let Nick get in your head. All right. So, Islanders and Flyers. Definitely some news to talk about in this game, but we'll start with the Islanders side here. You know what I'm going to say about this game, and I know what you're going to say about this game. So, I'll just cover it all in one. So, Islanders 1 always burns Clarkey every game that he doesn't play them.
Yep.
So he's going to be playing them tonight, and so will I.
Yep.
They are just a really, really good 5-on-5 line. They have really high correlation. They're all in the power play, and they're priced really good. The Flyers have struggled defensively this year, to my surprise. But, I mean, I guess if you go and look at their defense, there's not anyone that you can look at and say, yeah, they're a shutdown defenseman. And now that Couturier is out, I mean, they lose their number 1 shutdown center. So that's just a huge void on any team, losing your number 1 shutdown center. And I think that it only benefits the Islanders here. So I love Islanders 1 tonight. They're priced well, especially for a first line that all plays on the first power play. So I'm going to be, probably way over the field on them. I feel like they always get like 2 or 3% ownership, and then we're sitting there watching the game at our 10% ownership, and they're scoring goals, and I'm just like, how have people not got onto the Islanders train yet? But definitely give me some Islanders 1 tonight. Haven't looked into the Beauvillier injury status. I'm not sure if you know anything about that, but if we do see Beauvillier on Islanders 2, I also love the second line. They have a ton of correlation, and they play a bunch of minutes all together, and I think that's really important. And then Kiefer Bellows here doesn't excite me at all on the Islanders 2 line, so it's just a matter if Beauvillier is going to be there or not for me. And the defensive side, I mean, Pulock at 4,400, I'm going to get a lot of him tonight. He projects extremely well. He's on the first power play, and he loves to shoot and block. And I did see someone mention in chat about Noah Dobson. So our projection, it's really hard to project someone that's only played in 20 NHL games. And if he's had a really, really good first 20 games, then his projection is just going to be like over and above Roman Josi or someone that has a larger sample size. So our projection for Dobson is lower. I think I'm going to change it at the end of the stream, give him a little bit higher, a little bit of a bump here. But I do like Dobson. He's playing 20 minutes a night, first power play, block shots, and he's 3,600. So yeah, definitely give me some Dobson, definitely give me some Pulock, and give me lots and lots of Islanders 1 tonight.
Yeah, so on the Beauvillier news, he's listed as day-to-day on Daily Faceoff, but on the actual DraftKings site, he's listed as being on IR. Probably likely that he won't play tonight, but just keep an eye on that. Like it's tough with all the injury stuff. But we've seen Noah Dobson's price come up a little bit, which I'm sad about because he was just such a great value play.
Remember the first night? One assist,
when we
two
saw him on
shots.
power play 1.
I think 1 assist, 2 shots, 7 blocks. The first night we were like, yeah, we're taking Dobson tonight. Sorry, go ahead.
I lied, actually. His price was 3,800 the past 2 games, and he's come down, even though he's had 2 points in the past 2 games.
And
5 shots this last game too. Yeah. Which is weird, but like I love him as like a value play. If you can get to somebody around that mid 3K range, I think he's a great option. Correlates well with the Islanders 1, so you can definitely do that as well. Varlamov and net, that's a good matchup. Even though Philly's a good team, he's definitely going to see a lot of shots. But he had a weird game last game against the Caps. He kind of burned me.
I don't know.
Just 5 goals in 1 period. Like you rarely ever see that from him. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. Pulock at 4,400 I think is also a good price. That's a good value option for sure, especially if you're taking some Islanders 1. And yeah, it's Islanders 1 for me tonight. Like you said, every time I don't take them, they always burn me. So
yeah, I'm just looking at that game. Looks like the Islanders got into some penalty trouble, but Dobson with 21 minutes. So give me some Dobson tonight. All right, so Flyer side. So this is the news that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So I was just reading on Twitter this morning that Konechny is out. Like they're benching him tonight. So we do have the lines here for the Flyers, but I have no idea what's going to happen with Konechny. I read that they're going to announce at 4:50 p.m. if he's playing or not. So that's something you guys can definitely watch. We're going to be posting on our Twitter and in our Discord if you're not already following us or in the Discord. We'll be updating you guys there, but I guess we can talk about the Flyers assuming he's in the lineup. Can't just ignore them. So assuming he's in the lineup, the Islanders are a tough matchup, but Flyers are extremely cheap tonight. Giroux's at 4,100. I don't think we've ever seen that price tag on him. I think Konechny and Giroux both have power play 1 correlation, so I definitely like Flyers 1. They're a really good value on the top line, and I really like Flyers 2 tonight. Same thing. They've been really good 5-on-5. They've been shooting the puck a lot. They have been in their own end quite a bit. You can see here from their expected goals against numbers. Seems like they've been giving up quite a few chances, but again, they're just really cheap, and you can fit them with a lot of the other first lines. So I definitely like the Flyers here as a more of a value play. And then on the defensive side, I know Gustafsson actually had 2 assists last game, and that's someone I've been like bashing this entire season, but I'm not going to be taking any of him. Ghost is back, and he's on the first power play unit. I'm going to look into that while you kind of run through the team. But if Ghost is on the first power play unit, that's pretty good, especially at that value. Someone similar to Dobson, where he might only see 17 minutes 5-on-5 and an extra 3-4 on the power play, but that's enough for me to justify why that price tag is very favorable. And I like Sanheim too. Sanheim was a guy that we loved last year, and he won me some money last year, so I'm definitely still on the Sanheim train. And then Hart at 7,900 is a good price. The Flyers have been getting kind of worked 5-on-5, so I'm going to be a little lower in Hart than I think I want to be tonight.
It looks like Provorov's on that first power play unit with the entire second line and Giroux. So Giroux and Konechny don't even get that power play correlation, unfortunately. So I like the second line. The second line's been very good. JVR has been very good. They're probably going to see the Barzell line though, which kind of worries me at 5-on-5 there. But I think if you're going anywhere with the Flyers tonight, just because of what's happening with Konechny, it's probably a little bit safer to go with that second line. You probably see like Lindblom or Farabee move up to the first line there if Konechny doesn't play. But Provorov for 5K. It's just like he's a guy that we talk about empty minutes, and he's definitely one of those players. Just plays a lot, but doesn't do a lot in terms of peripherals or production necessarily. Guy's an absolute stud in real life, though. Don't get me wrong. When it comes to like fantasy hockey and DFS, he's not the best.
He's a real life stud, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, Sandheim at 3K, that's another good price. He hasn't been where we normally see him in terms of his peripherals, but I still think for his price, like that's okay. And then Gustafsson and Ghost are both sharing that second power play with Konechny, Patrick, and Lindblom. So I think just in terms of like a good punt defenseman, I don't think Gustafsson's your worst option for 2,600, especially, right? Like you're getting some power play time with a basically min-price defenseman. So I don't think that's the worst thing you can do on a slate where there's a lot of games tonight, and if you need like a cheap D for whatever reason. But Hart for 7,900, I think he's kind of in the same place as I am with Varlamov. It's a tough matchup. I think both these teams are pretty even. But again, like you said, like the Flyers have been bad at 5-on-5, and Carter Hart, we saw kind of that one game where he just played very poorly, and the recency biases surrounding him. But I like his price for 7,900.
Yeah, he's an elite goalie. So
absolutely.
Just doing some digging in this last Flyers game. So it looks like Konechny, Patrick, Giroux against the Devils gave up 8 scoring chances and had 1-4. The JVR Hayes Voracek line gave up 7 scoring chances and had 4-4. So it looks like these top 2 lines have been getting pumped 5-on-5. So that just justifies why I'm getting to more Islanders tonight. All right, Predators Lightning. So the Predators side here, the Johansson Forsberg Arvidsson line is a line that I really like 5-on-5. In 2018 they were unbelievable. That's when they were really clicking, but man, they've been just tough to roster this year, like in fantasy and in DraftKings. And it just, even tonight against the Lightning, it's even harder of a matchup for them. So I can't see myself getting to the Predators tonight. They were chalk last slate. I think on the Tuesday one. I didn't play on Thursday, but they were really chalk on the Tuesday slate. So I'm going to be off the Predators 1 tonight. I could see myself getting to a little bit of Predators 2. Again, it's just a really tough matchup. I actually think that the Lightning 3 is going to be playing against Predators 1, and then Lightning 1 is going to be against Predators 2. So they're an even tougher matchup against this point Stamkos Palat line. I'm going to almost fade the Predators tonight, other than
this is what I was freaking out about earlier.
What happened?
This is what I was freaking out about.
What did they do? Okay, so Roman Josi at 5,800. This is my 3rd year of DraftKings. I have never seen Roman Josi at that price tag. He might be like 80% owned for me tonight. He is by far.
This might be the first time I have a D over 50%.
That's just crazy price tag. He projects extremely well for us. I really, really like Josi, and I also really like Ellis as well. The Lightning are going to be taking a bunch of shots. They're going to have in the Predators and majority of the game. So, wow, that's pretty eye opening. I don't think we'll see this again.
Yeah, that I was losing my mind over this because I was like, wait a second, Petrie's at 6,800, and we were talking about the Roman Josi price range there, and then I scrolled down and I just started losing my mind.
That's crazy.
5,800, like I said, I might have over 50% of my lineups with Josi in it today. We actually don't have the price for Saros here. I'm gonna check real quick. He's down at 7,100.
Wow.
which just like that just warrants the matchup. And I think if anything, you're just better off going to 7,200 and taking Jacob Markstrom. I think that's a much better option for you, just in a one-sided matchup, it looks like, for the Lightning. But yeah, the Preds have had a really tough start out of the gate here. They've been getting flat out worked by teams that shouldn't be working them. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of regression from a Preds team that has struggled to score goals in their history and just been known as like a really rock solid defensive team. But yeah, Roman Josi at 5,800 might be the best value D I've ever seen ever.
No, man. Remember they priced Edler at 3,100 when coming back from injury?
Oh my God, that's right.
That was the best pricing.
I'm gonna have 90% of him. Yeah, that's true. That's tough to beat. But this is a close second.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have some Josi, like you said. Gonna have some Ellis too for 50. Like these are guys that we see over like 6K
all
usually.
the time. Josi was over 7K for quite a bit last year.
Yeah, he was lights out, right? Like Norris Trophy defenseman. Other than the D, I can't see myself getting to too much Preds. I just think the Lightning have a favorable matchup, and Yossi's just gonna hopefully go absolutely nuts with his peripherals tonight. Maybe sneak in a goal there, and yeah, that's the biggest play for me.
Yeah, put some money in our pockets. Kadri broke out last game. Love me some Kadri. Yeah, Clarkey actually came 6th. If you guys follow our Twitter, we tweeted it out. He was buzzing for first for a while, and he had that Kadri line that popped off for him. So, Lightning game amped up after getting shut out last game. Give me some Lightning one. You ready to hear me talk about them?
Let's do it.
Do I put Hoffman over Mantha? No, I play Mantha over Hoffman. All right. So Lightning one. Really pricey. Don't project too well for us, but I really, really like them tonight. The Predators are a terrible defensive team. They've been terrible defensively this year. They have taken so many penalties. They've given up 10. I think they gave up 10 power play goals so far this year. And I know they had like 6 or 7 against Dallas, but their penalty kill is down at 65%. And I'm pretty sure last year they were also at like bottom of the league for penalty kill. So Lightning one with all 3 of them being priced up and power play 1 correlation, I would be surprised if we saw too high of ownership on them tonight. I just think it's a really, really good matchup against the Predators. And then, given the price that they have, like the 20K price tag for all 3 of them, this should drive the ownership down. I'm assuming anyways. I mean, it's hard to predict ownership, 100% of the time, but you cannot go wrong with Lightning 1 tonight. Lightning 2 is fine. I'm not a Lightning 2 guy at all. They don't correlate too well, and they're not too good at 5-on-5. But I love the Lightning 3 tonight as well. They're always super cheap, and they're a third line that plays, 15 to 17 minutes a night, and they're all under 4K. So they're a really good value line tonight. I don't think they're going to garner too much ownership. Hopefully Coleman's back. I think he was out for a few games, but and on the defensive side here, McDonough at 3,100 is absurd. I don't know why they keep pricing him so low. He's playing way more minutes this year than last year. So definitely give me some McDonough. Definitely give me some Lightning 1. And I'll take Hedman with my Lightning 1 stack, but it's just hard for me to get to a defense that's 1,200 more than Josi. But I'll probably have some Hedman. And then Vaz is always, always a good play. Always.
Yeah, the highest priced goalie. Actually, that's a lie. He's the second highest priced goalie. Your favorite goalie is actually the highest priced goalie,
I saw.
which we'll talk about later. But if you watch the Lightning Hurricane game, it was a battle of the goaltenders. It was actually an incredible game to watch. There was a lot of action in like a very low scoring game. So the Lightning are going to look to bounce back against a weak Preds team here. So give me some Tampa 1 for sure. Like I think they're going to be a chalky play tonight, but I think it's warranted, even though they've kind of been haven't quite seen the elite production that we'd expect from that line. And then, Lightning 3 is also a great filler stack. I think any third line that plays close to 15 minutes, like Mike said, is a good option. And then Hedman, you kind of have to get to him as well at 7K if you're. It's just tough with that first line, right? So maybe throw him in just as like a one-off D in every couple of your lineups. But he's been good as of late too, so he definitely warrants his price just in terms of his peripherals, like shooting around like 4 shots a game. It doesn't get too many blocks, but he's had the block bonus at least once in the past 4 games. So. But Vass is a great play tonight as well. Like he warrants his price at 8,300, so definitely going to have some of him tonight, even though he's a little expensive.
So I'm just doing some digging into McDonough. So their game against the Blue Jackets, which was 2 games ago for the Lightning, he played 25 minutes, 5-on-5, and just a little bit. Doesn't play the power play, which is fine. And then against the Hurricanes, McDonough played 20. He led the team in 5-on-5 minutes, so he is playing a bunch of time on 5-on-5 right now. So good to know with McDonough, 3,100. Probably one of the best value plays tonight, if not the best. All right, Penguins Rangers. I know some of you guys are probably excited for me to talk about Malkin tonight, but I'll start with this Penguins one line. So they're really pricey tonight, and the Rangers are very similar to the Predators, where they just give up a ton of power play goals, like consistently over the last 3 years. Have just been brutal on the penalty kill, and I just can't see them getting any better at all. So. Penguins one is good. They're really pricey tonight, but it is a favorable matchup against the Rangers, and they all have power play 1 correlation. So I can see Penguins 1 ownership being relatively low, given, there's Edmonton on the slate, there's the Leafs on the slate, and there's the Tampa Bay on the slate, and Colorado as well. So I can see the Penguins getting basically no ownership tonight, and it's a pretty good matchup for them. So I'm going to have Penguins 1 tonight, and then here we go. Here we go, guys. Penguins 2. Malkin is 5,700. Like, what's happening? I just think, if there's any matchup in this division where Malkin's going to pop off, it's against the Rangers. So I'm definitely going to have some Penguins too tonight. They're a super cheap filler stack. They played like 20 minutes each last game. So definitely give me some Penguins too tonight. And on the defensive side, Letang is 6K. That's fine. I'm going to have some of them just because of how favorable the power play matchup is and the 5-on-5 matchup. But again, like it's hard for me to justify why I'm taking Letang over Yossi. I think that's just an ownership thing at some point. And then Casey DeSmith is getting the start tonight. I think he's confirmed at 7,300. It's a pretty good price tag. I would just play him correlating with my Penguin stacks, but not too high on the goalie here. This is going to be a shootout tonight again.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest thing is Malkin's price still. We've seen him struggle as of late, but this is a great opportunity for him to get going against a very weak defensive team in the Rangers. So I'm definitely going to have some of him tonight just because of his price, right? Like you can probably fit him with some top line for sure. Letang at 6K, like you said, it's just an ownership thing now. Yossi's still going to be probably my highest owned D. But if you're taking some of that second line or even some of the first line, you can fit some Letang in with them. I just think the first line is a little pricey. Like Brian Rust at 6,400 definitely brings that price up. But again, like it's a good look for the Penguins here. I think you're right. It's going to be an absolute shootout. Hopefully, we see a lot of goals out of this game because I think it's a good look for both sides. And I probably won't touch either of these goalies too much in these games.
Georgiev.
Your favorite?
Yeah, my boy.
No, Shesterkin's your favorite.
Yeah. I was just doing some quick digging here on the Penguin side. Looks like the Malkin line was actually pretty good against the Bruins last game, so that's kind of good to know. Really tough playing against the Bruins on any night. So hopefully they can turn it around, man. Anyways, Rangers side. Last game we had Lafreniere started the game on the first line and then ended the game on the third line. Like, I mean, it's so hard in DraftKings some nights, especially when like you're playing a lot of lineups and have a lot of money, and these lines are consistently being changed throughout the game, and it's just there's nothing really you can do about it. You have to sit there and watch. And I had a decent amount of that Zib line, and I had Lafreniere there, and he wasn't even playing with them, so it's kind of sad. But we did see Booch back with them. This was their line last year. They were really good 5-on-5, so I can definitely see myself getting to some Rangers 1. I think it's a matter of time. If you guys watched my buy low, sell high video, you know that Zib is due for some improvements in the next coming games. So hopefully this is a favorable matchup for him to start getting his game back that we saw last year. And second line here, Panarin, 6,500. Pretty good price for him. He doesn't shoot too much, but he's a guy that is like similar to Patrick Kane, where he can easily give you 2-3 assists and a goal in any given night. So definitely going to have some Rangers 1, definitely going to have some Rangers 2 tonight. And the defensive side, I just can't bear with this pricing on Adam Fox. He's good. He plays like 25 minutes a night. I just, he hasn't proven enough to me where I'm overly excited about the $6,400 price tag. And with, Dougie Hamilton at $6,300, Letang at $6K, and then Yossi at $5,800, I just think there's better options tonight.
Yeah, it's tough, and it's the consistency thing with the Rangers for me. Like, just with all the line switching and Lafreniere going up on the first line, then going back on the third line, and then Adam Fox's price being at 6,400, and it's just kind of like all over the place. The line too just hasn't been consistent enough for me. Like, we saw Panarin have a good game last game, but like Strome's price at 4,100, the guy doesn't really shoot the puck. Same like DiGiuseppe at 4,100. Like, what is going on with that? So I think if I'm going anywhere tonight, it's the Rangers 1, and I'm hoping that Zib just absolutely pops off. I'd love to see another explosion offensively from him, like that 4-goal game last year.
5-goal.
5-goal game, excuse me. Mike will always remind me of that. But yeah, Zib hasn't come out of the gate in the way that we thought. But you could say that for the entire Rangers team, right? Like, they've been slow, and they've been bad defensively, and they're not seeing the production out of their big guns on their offense. And Lafreniere's had a slow start. So if anything, I'm going to Rangers 1 tonight. I think Penguins are just as bad defensively as the Rangers are, especially with Casey DeSmith in net. So it's definitely an opportunity for the Rangers to get going just as much as it is for the Pens. So I probably won't have too much Georgiev as well.
All right. I'm just doing some digging here. It looks like D'Angelo was on the first line. On the first power play, sorry. Someone just shut the lights off in my house. Perfect. Anyways, so yeah, it looks like D'Angelo did play quite a bit on the first power play last game. So that's pretty good for fantasy owners to look at and for this. But yeah, they made a ton of changes on their lines last game. So Zib was playing with Lafreniere and Buchnevich for 6 minutes, and then with Panarin and Buchnevich for a minute, and then Panarin and Lafreniere for a minute. So just kind of all over the place with these lines. So I'm not too sure how I want to play the Rangers tonight.
Daily Faceoff has Colin Blackwell listed on the second line instead of DiGiuseppe, and Kreider on the third line instead of Lafreniere. They swapped. So I have no clue what's going on with this team right now.
Yeah, who knows? Okay, let me just answer a few questions here. Sorry, guys. Panarin, is Pasternak in tonight? Yeah, we have Pasternak in. So from what we've seen, he's playing. Pick one to start. Pavelski, Larkin, or Suzuki? Oof, probably Suzuki. Bench 1. Makar, Anderson, Klingberg, Yossi, Krug. Jeez. Probably Krug.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Bench 1. Heiskanen, Anderson, Morrissey, Larson, Klingberg, Romanov. Oh, probably Morrissey.
I'd go with Romanov.
Yeah, either one. Lafreniere overrated. I just think he hasn't found his footing yet. He's not too overrated. I feel like he wasn't as hyped up as we've seen some prospects. In head-to-head points league, would you do Patty Kane for Connor? I would keep Patty Kane. What's going on with Rupe Hintz? I don't know. He's injured. I haven't read too much about that. I would keep Connor. Yeah, maybe. I guess you're right with that Canadian division.
That's a tough one, especially with how bad the Blackhawks are this year.
Yeah, I actually looked at the Chicago game last game, and Patty Kane's line had 0 scoring chances. Not one.
Wow.
Should I hold on to Hoffman or pick up someone I've been looking at? Lafreniere, Kopp, Falk, or Ty Smith? I guess it's just a matter of where PLD plays. Like, if Dubois takes over Kopp's spot, then kind of hard to justify why you would drop Hoffman for him. So I would wait a little bit. Rangers been so bad. Would you do Johnny Gaudreau for Malkin? Oh. Is it a points league?
I think I would.
Yeah.
I'd probably do that.
Traded Couturier for Pavelski. Jeez. Trade away Larkin or trade Line for Larkin and Nylander. Yeah, you can do that. That's a good trade. All right, Bruins Capitals. So the big news here, you can see we have our exclamation marks beside our minutes, but this line is extremely expensive. But I mean, they are probably the best line in hockey. They correlate all in the power play. They all correlate 5-on-5. They're a great line every night. Just the biggest thing I want to say with the Bruins is they're really expensive, so you're going to have to play bad lines with them. And that's my biggest concern is that, you know, you're paying up $23,000 for a line. That means you're going to have to pay like, you know, $10,000 to $12,000 for a second line. And that just means you're kind of, you know, you're not picking 2 first lines that are going to see a bunch of minutes. Like, you're going to have to go down to some of the weaker lines. And then your goalies and defense are also going to have to be priced down. So you're going to be playing some D with hopes that they do really well. So it's kind of hard for me to play too much the Bruins at this price tag. You know, I know my big lineup where I won all the money was with the Bruins line, but I just got to see the pairings. I haven't done my crunches yet today, but it's going to be hard to pair them with a line that I'm excited about. So going to have to do some more research into that. But yeah, so Bruins too, they were definitely better when Richie was on the first power play, but they're not a bad value stack. They're going to see a decent amount of minutes tonight, so I don't mind Bruins too. On the defensive side, I'm not a McAvoy fan at all, but I am at this price tag on power play 1 with Grzelcyk out tonight, so I'm going to have some McAvoy. I just think with Pastrnak being back on that power play, it just makes them so much better. So McAvoy's an easy one-off defenseman and an easy defenseman that you can pair with your Bruin stacks. And then, oh, am I seeing this right? Tuukka Rask is 7,500 tonight?
Yeah, I can confirm that, but
So
let me double check.
that's a really good price tag.
He is 7,500.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, McAvoy's solid. Bruins 1, Tuukka Rask. The usual suspects.
Yeah, I agree. I think like Boston 1 is just one of the, like Mike said, one of the best lines in hockey. This line's actually 100 salary more than Colorado 1. So if you're taking them, like Mike said, you're going to have to get creative and find a value line to put with them. But I think I like this matchup a little bit better than Colorado's matchup, just because the Caps are just brutal defensively. And Pass is back in the lineup, and that line's going to be back to dominating every single time they step on the ice. So I'm going to have some Bruins 1 tonight. I absolutely love them tonight, even though they're priced up. And they're probably going to be pretty high owned just because of the chalk against the Caps.
And Pasternak's return, yeah.
Yeah. So just be wary of that. There are some other line changes that I'm seeing now on Daily Faceoff. They have Krejci with Richie and Carson Kuhlman instead of Craig Smith. Smith moves down to the third line with Coyle and Frederic, and Studnicka gets bumped out of the lineup from what I'm seeing on Daily Faceoff currently. But I'm with Mike. I'm not usually a Charlie McAvoy fan, but if I can get to some of him with my Boston 1 stacks and still be able to pay for a half-decent defenseman as well, I definitely will do that just because of the correlation. But give me some Rask for 7,500. That's a great price for him.
Yeah, for sure. So, Gabe, you're asking us some pretty tough trades here. So, we do have a trade analyzer that we just completed. So, I mean, I guess this will be the first sneak peek. So, he asked about Johnny Gaudreau.
Joe for Malkin. I think
it
it's
showed can't spell. Gaudreau. And then Evgeny.
Max, I think I'd take Puljujärvi just because he's playing on that first line with McDavid and Nuge.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he gets power play time as well.
Looks like the Malkin sign's actually favored in that trade. Eichel
Points?
Jack Eichel. Oh, spelling Svechnikov's gonna be the worst. Svechnikov, I think that's how you spell it. But yeah, anyways, this is just one of the tools that we just finished. And Pasternak.
Duncan, I'd definitely trade Yandel for Darlene if that goes through. That's a steal for you.
Oh, it's Andre. Oops, Evgeny's his brother. I'm the worst. So it looks like the Hall and Pasternak side wins in that trade. But yeah, this is just something we're working on, guys. Something we're going to release to our Patreons within the coming days. Anyways, all right, Capital side. We don't know, and we were talking about this before the stream as well. So we don't know what's going on with these lines tonight. We don't know if Ovechkin's playing. I read that they're all going to be game time decisions. So we're just going to go with what daily faceoff has here. Verona, Backstrom, Wilson. There's just not too much to like from this Capital side. The Bruins are such a tough matchup on any night. But I think the biggest thing to take away from this game is if Ovechkin, Orlov, Kuz, like if they're all out, then Justin Schultz is still in the first power play and he's still playing a bunch of minutes. So I just think the Capital side is good if you're getting contrarian, but I mean, they're just priced up way too much for my liking tonight.
Yeah, make sure you guys are joining the Discord and keeping an eye on like what we post in terms of line changes, especially with a situation like this where we've got guys possibly returning to the lineup due to like the whole COVID situation and everything like that. Like, we'll definitely post that information for you guys in the Discord. So make sure you guys join the Discord, just because I have more confidence in predicting like what I'm gonna have for breakfast next week than I do with these Capitals lines. I just think it's really tough to tell right now at 2:30 in the afternoon when we don't know what's going on. We usually get the information closer to game time, so definitely keep an eye on that. But John Carlson has been absolutely lights out as of late, and for 6,500, I think he's definitely a D that you can get to. Just as like a one-off, like I had him in my winning lineup a couple days ago when I won the
I also
250.
did. I also did my first place lineup.
Yeah, same thing with Schultz, right? 3,300, plays power play one time. He's been getting over 20 minutes a game, 5 shots. He's just been an absolute stud, especially for that price. I love me some Schultz right now. And I'm probably off of Vanacek in net. But it's tough to kind of like make a prediction as to what line I'm going to take for the Caps, if any, just based off of like the lines and everything. Like they have Ovi on the second line right now, which I don't know how that's going to pan out. So I'm usually off the Caps just because of their pricing, and I think that that top line is just a little bit too priced up for me. I just think there's some better options to go to on the slate.
Yeah, I agree. What's Discord? Discord's kind of like a Skype, Jax. So like, I mean, we have a lot of people in there, and a lot of people. We have like a hockey channel and questions channel. So it's just a way to connect with us. It's a stock. We're not talking stocks in here, guys. All right, Leafs Oilers. We have a few games to get to, and we've been streaming for quite a long time. So let's just let's hammer these games out. Leafs Oilers. So we see Hyman up on the first line now with the Matthews line. They were really good 5-on-5 this year so far. And they do project as our best line. I just think the biggest concern with me is that their ownership is always super high, especially for a big slate. But it is a very favorable matchup against a terrible Oilers team, terrible defensive Oilers team, we'll say. So I definitely do like Leafs 1, and I also really like Leafs 2 tonight. We see Mikheyev up on the second line. That was what they were like last year. I think Marner was with Nylander and Mikheyev. It was like Marner, Tavares, and Mikheyev for a bit last year until Keefe came in. I don't know, just been a mess. But I like both lines here. I love how many minutes Matthews and Marner are playing every night. I was looking a little bit into Nylander. He's only playing like 15 minutes a night, so I don't know what's going on there. I think that's just with him not being on the top power play unit. But definitely like Leafs 1 and 2, like every night. And then on the defensive side here, Riley's down to 5,200. He's a guy that can easily give you 5 shots and 3 assists in a night. He has a ton of point upside, so I'm definitely going to get to some Morgan Riley at that price tag tonight. And Freddie Anderson, I'm not too excited about Freddie ever, especially in this terribly good division.
Yeah, I think both Leafs top lines are great options tonight. Matthews has just been great with Marner and Hyman. As you can see, the expected goals for there. They were very successful last year together as well. Line 2 obviously gets you a little bit of a discount, but still has some offensive upside with Tavares Nylander. Mikheyev is probably a little bit of a punt there, but he just plays like that Hyman role. Probably off the third line altogether. We'll talk about the Oilers' third line. Mike has some stats surrounding that third line matchup. And Riley for 5,200, we'd love that. Even Muzzin for 4,500, his peripherals are usually good. And then Freddie for 7,700. I think it should be another shootout tonight, especially if you've seen as many penalties as we did in the last game. So I'm probably off Freddie tonight as well.
Yeah. Oilers side here. So the first line's not bad. They just don't project well, like, at all. I just think the biggest issue is that McDavid always has like crazy outlier performances where he'll have like 50 points and then his line mates will have 10. So I'm not too crazy about the Oilers at all tonight. It's just a tough matchup against the Matthews line. Like, Matthews has actually been proven time and time again that he's a pretty good shutdown center. So, I mean, there's still going to be trading chances nonstop in this game. I can't really see it not happening. So it's hard for me to get away from the Oilers, but I just think with this value, it's too hard to justify. You know, if I'm making 10 lineups, like, it's hard for me to justify getting to 2 or 3 lineups with the Oilers. So I'm going to have some because I do a bunch of lineups, but if I was only doing like 20 and under, I would be surprised if I even got to 1. So I just think the best way to play the Oilers is matching Draisaitl, Yamamoto, McDavid, and Nuge together, something like that, like getting weird with it. And Puljujärvi at 4,300 is just way too pricey for me. He hasn't really done too much. I know his shot volume was good for like 1 game, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw McDavid go off for 50 points tonight because I'm bashing him a little bit. But yeah, third line here has been pretty good, 5-on-5. That's all I really wanted to say. There wasn't too much. Like, you kind of made it seem like I was like, oh, this is the best line tonight, but I'm not gonna have too much. I'm not gonna have too much of them. I don't mind Neil because he's on the first power play, but. Defensive end, Darnell Nurse is, again, time and time again, just underpriced, completely underpriced. He was seen time in the first power play unit, but I just looked into it, and it looks like Barry was on the top unit last game. So that's really uplifting for fantasy owners. But yeah, give me some Nurse here. I really like him at this price tag. And hopefully one of my viewers is watching that said Mikko Koskinen is the golden goalie in fantasy hockey. He is my 10-foot pole tonight.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Mike. Nurse at 4,500, absolute slam dunk. Until we see 100% that Tyson Berry's back on that first power play, I'm just going to be slamming Nurse just because of his peripherals. I did make it out that line 3 was a great play tonight, so I apologize for throwing you a fastball there. But we did see them do fairly well against Toronto's third line, so maybe just keep an eye on that. Like, Neil gets some power play time, but I agree, I'm probably off them altogether. The only thing I might do with the Oilers tonight is I'll probably have some of just the first line. The second line's really cheap. Like, we see Draisaitl under 8K, which is really rare. But if you throw Draisaitl, McDavid, and Nuge together, they're 23-2, which is only 100 more than the Colorado first line. And we saw a lot of power plays last game with the Oilers. So that's definitely a good contrarian option to go with, especially if you're getting some Nurse to that as well.
All right. Yeah, I like that. That's cool to know. So they're a little bit cheaper with McDavid, Nuge, and Draisaitl. So, all right. So Avalanche Wild. Pretty tough matchup for the Avs here. Like, the Wild have been like really, really good defensively, and I know the Eriksson Ek line. Oh, they split them up. Wow. So it was Eriksson Ek, Greenway, Foligno, and they were the shutdown line for the Wild, and they have been really good over the last 2 years shutting down lines. But I mean, as we know, with this McKinnon line, they're kind of shutdown proof. It's like impossible to shut them down. They're just so good. I'm definitely going to have some Avalanche 1 today. It's impossible for me to stay completely away from them. They're a line that is just, they all correlate 5-on-5. They all correlate in the power play. They play so many minutes, especially in tight games. And I could definitely see this one being a little bit closer than we expect, but I could also see it being a 7-0 win. So, I'm definitely going to have some Avalanche 1. I think Avalanche 2 is actually going to get a lot of ownership today just because of the recency bias. But, I mean, playing against the Sharks is a lot favorable of a matchup than playing against Minnesota. So, I guess we'll see. How the final crunches end up, but 11-3 for the second line isn't bad, and Kadri has proven to be a high volume shooter every year, so I don't mind that. Makar here at 5,500, he's not bad. He's definitely easier to fit him with the Avalanche 1 stacks than when he was like 6,800, but Bowen Byram is not the worst punt defenseman. He looked really good against the Sharks, but I mean, everyone in the Avalanche did, so. And then Grubauer tonight, I like him. I like Grubauer in every night. I just think it's hard to get away from an Avalanche goalie that, has the best offense in front of him and has a really good chance at winning every night. So definitely like the Avs tonight.
So Devin Taves is actually injured and will not play tonight. He didn't travel with the team to Minnesota. He could be facing some long-term injury with a foot injury, so that's something to look at. So we could see a bump in minutes for Bowen Byram there at 2,800. Like you said, he's looked absolutely fantastic. The guy's just going to be a stud. I just didn't expect it to be this early. But yeah, Colorado 1 for sure, especially if Makar's priced down. Maybe you can sneak him in there with your Colorado 1 lineups. Even the second line's good. Like I like that second line too. Kadri had 10 shots last game, so he's starting to get back into his playoff form that we saw with the Abs there in the playoffs last year. And yeah, Grubauer, I'm just gonna look at his price quickly just to compare. He's 8,200, which is a little bit expensive for me in a sneaky good Wild team, but they are missing Kevin Fiala. He's suspended on that boarding call. So we'll get to that in a second, man. But yeah, you probably won't like his replacement up there on the first line. So definitely give me some Abs tonight.
Yeah. Do you think Demko can keep up his play? I love Demko. I thought Demko was such a good pick this year. I don't know. I'm holding on to him. I have Varlamov.
Keepers.
I have Varlamov, Hudobin, Hart. I'm up a decent amount, worried about negative with 2 days left this week. Can only start 2, and the Flyers are playing the Islanders tonight. Thoughts? I mean, you kind of have to roll with Hudobin tonight. Geez. I would probably still start Hart. It's too hard for me to say sit Hart. I'd rather play extra task for Vasilevsky over Freddie. Yeah, absolutely.
Jax, I think Gerard is power play 2 for the. He was playing with Taves though, so you're right. We could see Bowen Byram get some power play 2 time if he's out of the lineup, because they do run. Yeah, he's listed as on the second power play unit on daily faceoff, so definitely a good punt option.
Yeah, and Byram played 17 minutes 5-on-5 last game, which was second most on the team. He played more 5-on-5 minutes than Makar, so that's good to know. So they're giving him a lot of opportunity, and I can definitely see his price skyrocketing within the next week or two. So don't invest in GME, invest in Bowen Byram. All right. God. So who's Fiala's replacement tonight?
Well, according to Daily Faceoff, we have Brad Hunt up on the first line.
Brad Hunt's playing forward tonight?
Parise. Apparently.
No.
Apparently.
Okay. So I guess we'll talk about it assuming Brad Hunt's there. I don't like the Wild 1 tonight, and it's pretty evident why. Wild 2 is not bad. So Ek's been pretty good this year, playing a bunch of minutes. That line's actually been producing quite a few scoring chances. I'm just going to look here into their last game. Yeah, they were pretty good last game. So I don't mind Wild 2. Kaprizov's still going to get ownership because everyone loves the name. His projection's way too high. I have to manually fix that. But on the defensive side, I think Brodin's kind of the only defenseman I'm going to get here. I just think Spurgeon's he's just been so underwhelming, like empty minutes, like you always say. But I love Brodin at 3,200. He plays so many minutes, plays on the penalty kill. The Avs are a team that take advantage of teams that are a little bit slower than them, and that causes like other teams to get penalties. Sorry, my laptop just showed me the low battery, so it's kind of messing with my brain a little bit here. But yeah, so the Avalanche are a team that definitely draw a lot of penalties. So if we do see the Avalanche on the power play, Brodin's going to be getting in front of a lot of shots. He's a big body too. So definitely like Brodin here. And I would expect Kaapo Kähkönen to get some ownership at that price, but he is the 6-foot pole tonight.
Oh. Yeah. If the Wild go with 7D tonight, like Devils said, and that's just an
Okay.
absolute nightmare if you're taking any wild lines tonight, just because they're going to be put in a blender. Yeah, I like the Spurgeon thing. Just the empty minutes for me, right? Same thing with Dumba. Like we haven't seen Dumba's peripherals, like his shots and his blocks, be as high as usually for that price. At I think last game he was 4,900, and I was just completely off him just because of that. So you probably better off going to like a Darnell Nurse for 4,500. I think that's a better play. Even like a Jake Muzzin, somebody who just gets a lot of peripherals. So I'm probably off the Wild just altogether. Just if they run with 70, it's going to be tough to pick a line unless you're going with like a power play stack, for example. But I don't like the matchup at all for the Wild.
Yeah, no one. There's no good matchup against the Avalanche ever. So, Blues and Ducks. No changes here for the Blues lines. I think just the main line I want to talk about is Blues 2. They've been really, really, really efficient 5-on-5. Like, can't even explain to you. I guess you can see here the expected goals numbers, but Blues 2, they're a really good filler stack. They project pretty good for us. I'm definitely going to get to some today. It's just, the Ducks are a favorable matchup. I just think the only unfavorable part of it is John Gibson. He has just been an absolute stud this year. But the Ducks are struggling. They're just, haven't been doing much. They've been on the penalty kill a bunch. They've been given a bunch of chances. And the only reason why they're not losing 10-0 is because of their goalie. So definitely going to have some Blues 1 and 2 tonight. Blues 1s are very favorable. The prices are very favorable tonight. And people have talked about how Perron's been slow this year, and I know that's been definitely a big topic of conversation, but I can definitely see myself getting to both Blues lines today. And then Blues 3, I don't know what I want to do with them. It's a pretty good matchup, and they're really cheap. Hoffman's still at 4,200. This could be the game where we see the Hoffman hat trick. We'll see. But on the defensive side, I'm never really a Krug fan at all. I just don't think he shoots a lot, and he's super reliant on him getting 2 power play assists. So I'm definitely going to take some Falk tonight. I definitely miss him under 4K, but he's been playing so much. He has a ton of shots and blocks, so I'm going to have some Falk tonight. And then the goalie, Jordan Bennington. What do you think I'm going to say about Bennington tonight?
Whatever comes out of your mouth is probably going to be wrong because you're like 0 for 4 on Bennington takes
right.
so far.
So the Ducks they have the least goals scored in the league this year. I think they have 1.5 goals a game. So I don't mind Bennington tonight, but the Ducks have the lowest shot volume in the league, and they score the lowest amount of goals. So my only concern is that Bennington's going to have 15 saves and 1 goal against and get the win and then have 12 points, and you paid 8,400 for him.
Yeah, I think that's a great prediction. Especially paying 4,800 for a goalie. As good as Bennington's been, his past 4 games, he's had a 974 save percentage and then 2 913s with seeing the shot bonus twice. He's just been absolutely lights out. But if he doesn't get a lot of shots, like you said, that's what prevented me from taking home the first place. Was I took Darcy Kemper in a matchup against the Ducks, and he had a goal scored against him and 15 saves. So that's what screwed me over in my lineup. And why would I ever correlate my goalies ever?
Tried to tell you, man. Tried to tell you.
I know. That'll be engraved in my head for the rest of my DK's career. But Parayko 4,800, love him. Absolutely love him. The guy's a stud. Love all 3 of the Blues lines. I think they're great filler stacks tonight. They're fairly cheap. Perron has actually been lights out. He's had 5 points in his last 3 games and the shot bonus twice. So he looks like he's getting back into form. Brian O'Reilly just will ride that wave as well. So I like the Blues 1 tonight. I think it's just a favorable matchup through their entire lineup against the Ducks. And especially the third line, like you said, going up against that young, talented Ducks 3 line, which we've seen isn't good defensively. Couple first-round picks on that line, but Blues 3 should realistically win that matchup. So give me all the Blues is just filler tonight. I think they're a great option.
Agreed. I guess Do you have anything major to say about the Ducks other than John Gibson at 6,900?
On Gibson 6,900. That's all I have to say.
I agree. I think that's a quick move on. Watch them be really good tonight, but I just think the Ducks have been. It's just hard for me to justify taking a team that has only scored 1.5 goals a game. So definitely give me some John Gibson tonight, but other than that, I'm just gonna stay away. Especially on 11 gamer. All right, final
100%.
game, guys. So Canucks and Jets. This is an exciting one. Definitely gonna be a lot of chances being shared from both sides. So on the Canucks side here, the first line, I was trying to tell you guys to get on the Elias Pettersson hype train. Don't sell low on him. Hopefully some of you guys cashed in on his very cheap price tag last week, and he is now going back to form. He looked unbelievable against Ottawa. And Ottawa's a tough team to play against, man. At some point in the game, Ottawa was up like 38 to like 25 in shots. But yeah, Pettersson looks great. He looks great on the power play again. That's one thing I definitely stressed about in my videos is that, the Canucks power play was 5th in the league last year, and then they were at bottom 5 this year. They're going to come back to life, and you saw that in the series against Ottawa, and hopefully we see it again tonight. I love the Canucks won tonight. They have a ton of correlation. They're really good on the power play. They're not too good 5-on-5, but I'll get into the Jet side and how bad they are 5-on-5, so it kind of just crosses out. So definitely give me some Canucks 1 tonight. Canucks 2 is, again, a favorable matchup. I think the Horvat line is going to go against the Scheifele line. We haven't seen them. They haven't played yet this year, so we don't know. But that's usually how it works with the Canucks. And I definitely like that second line on Vancouver a lot tonight, especially if they're going against that Scheifele line. And on the defensive side, Quinn Hughes is 5,700. I'm not too big of a Hughes guy, but if you're taking Pettersson, Miller, Besser, you got to take Hughes. I did a correlation analysis. He had very high correlation with all 3 of those players. So when Pettersson, Besser, or Miller score, there's a pretty good chance that Hughes is part of that. So it's very important to keep that in mind. And Edler at 4,200 is a pretty good price. He's been playing 22 minutes a night. Jets are going to have a lot of offense tonight, so I don't mind Edler. And we've had some messages about Demko. I'm a Demko fan. I'm a Demko day one. So he was really good in Boston in NCAA. So I'm going to get to some Demko at 7,400 tonight. The Jets are a tough matchup, but he's a goalie that could steal a game any night.
Yeah, I was on the Demko train as well at the beginning of the season. I thought he showed that he could be the starter especially in the playoffs. And then Markstrom left, so I thought he was going to get that starting role. But at 7,400, that's a great price. The Jets are going to shoot a lot. Quinn Hughes won me some money just because I correlated him with line 1 there. All power play correlation. They were absolutely buzzing last game, and they have been for the past couple games. So I'm going back to them tonight against a not so great defensive team in the Jets, as we've seen before. I'm curious to see what happens if they get matched up against the Jets second line, because they've been very good as of late as well. But I probably won't get to too much Canucks 2, just because I just think the upside is everywhere in the line 1. So give me line 1, give me Hughes. And then other than that, I'm not too crazy on any of the D. Edler at 42 isn't bad. I'm probably off Nate Schmidt altogether, but Tyler Myers at 44 is also cheap. But again, I'd rather go to like a Darnell Nurse for 4,500.
Yeah, agreed. And Devils makes a good point too. I'd like to see Vancouver play well against a non-Senators team, and I completely agree with that too. Because I'm a big numbers guy. Devils, like I'm a guy that, will pick out outlier performances, and that's the only thing that's going to keep me from getting too much of the Canucks tonight. But I'm definitely going to have some. And Jax, if you're asking about roster construction, if that's about DraftKings, it's 5 forwards and a utility. So usually it's 6 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goaltender. And you have to have players from 3 different teams. So you can't take, 9 Vancouver guys and Demko and net. All right, so Jets side. Jets won. They're good. They correlate well. Really expensive tonight. The Canucks are a very favorable matchup. They've been atrocious defensively. But the Jets won. They've never been good in their career 5-on-5. Like all their successes come on the power play. And then they are against a kind of a tough matchup against the Horvat line, but it's hard for me to get away from a line that just correlates so well. If they score 3 or 4 goals, it's likely that the others will have 2 or 3 assists. So I definitely like Jets 1 tonight, but I won't be over the field at all. Jets 2, they were in my first place lineup. Kopp had 2 goals, 2 assists. And my reasoning for taking them is their 5-on-5 numbers are one of the best in the league. They have been unbelievable 5-on-5, just creating scoring chances nonstop. They're working teams. Kopp and Ehlers' shot volume have both been up this year. And Stastny's a perfect center that loves to move the puck. So seems like they're meshing pretty well together. I'm so curious to see what happens with Dubois, but definitely like Jets 2 tonight. And on the defensive side, you know what? The Jets D have been a nightmare this year. I would love to see Pionk back on the first power play unit, but not too much I like on the Jets D side. And then Hellebuck's okay at 8K. I know he's a Vezina winner, but we have to keep in mind he won Vezina with a 282 goals against average and a 910 save percentage. So it's just hard for me to take an 8,000 goalie that's in one of the highest totals tonight and, has a pretty bad defensive team in front of him.
Yeah, guys, just remember to leave a like and subscribe if you like the content. Got to do the plug there. It's the last game, so we got to make sure we get that in. And then as well, if you guys aren't in the Discord already, make sure you get in the Discord, as well as we also offer a Patreon service you'll have access to the sheet as well as other DFS and fantasy hockey tools like the trade analysis thing that Mike was showing off earlier. I think that's going to be a huge tool for you guys, just seeing like where you're at with specific trades and your leagues. So definitely something to check out if you're interested in that. And yeah, for the Jets, the biggest thing with me with line 1 is that if they don't hit, they usually just bust altogether. Like it's never like, for example, like I'll use the Leafs just because it's the one that pops into my mind. Like Matthews is always going to have a high shot volume, regardless of whether or not like he scores twice or gets 3 points that game, right? Like the Jets usually either bust or they go absolutely nuts for me, and it's definitely possible that they can put up a lot of points against the Canucks. But just that second line is just so much more enticing for me, just because Ehlers has been absolutely phenomenal as of late. Stastny looks like he's right at home centering Kopp and Ehlers there. So I'm curious to see what they do with Dubois as well when he comes in. He might honestly just start on the third line, and then if things go bad, they might move him up the lineup. But as of right now, that second line has been absolutely phenomenal. And the D is tough to get to just because Morrissey and Pionk have been interchanging on power play 1 there. I just think like there's better D options tonight. Unless you're super keen on the Jets going off, take some Morrissey with your Jets 1 stack there. But Connor for 8K, it's pricey, but I think this game's going to be high scoring, so I probably won't have too much of him.
Yeah, and it looks like the JT Miller, Pettersson, Besser line got absolutely worked by the Senators, and that's going against the always dangerous Brady to Chuck line. So we'll see how it pans out in this game. I think line 2 on the Jets is going to match up against them. That's my guess anyways. So I'm pretty favorable for Jets 2. All right. So that's everything. That was a pretty long one, but favorite 2 lines tonight.
Favorite 2 lines.
You can't steal mine this stream.
Okay. I'll try and get a little off the beat.
No, you can steal mine. If we have the same one, that's a good thing.
I think Panthers 1 is one of my favorites tonight just because of the matchup against the Red Wings, and then I'm going with Boston 1 as well.
All right. For me, Panthers 1 and Islanders 1 as per usual.
Oh. Favorite
Max,
D tonight. Is that even a question? Like we already know.
Yeah, Yossi. Yossi's
Okay,
the best D tonight. And then cheap D, I really like Sanheim and McDonough. Love McDonough tonight. He'll be high owned for me. And then favorite goalie, John Gibson.
I'm going to go...
Go
Go for Varlamov tonight. I think he bounces back.
Yeah, Flyers
and just shuts the Flyers out.
Just a mess right now. I have no idea what's going on with this sheet right into fantasy. Yeah, it's just for DraftKings Max. Yeah, I mentioned Joe Pavelski in my last video. He's definitely someone that's going to come back down to earth. So he's a sell high candidate right now. But I think Horvat's going to maintain his production. He's an elite player. So I grabbed Ehlers as a later draft pick. He's been great for me. Yeah, he's winning people leagues right now. Guy in first in my one of my leagues has Ehlers. I think the Jets is decent ownership play. People are going to be in Canucks after the last few. Yeah, like the recency bias is going to be there. And the Canucks have been pretty brutal defensively. So don't mind the Jets. They're just really pricey. So just for me I do a lot of lineups, Devils. I'm not sure how you play DraftKings, but for me, I don't really leave out too many lines. So I'm going to have some, but if I was doing a cash lineup, I wouldn't consider the Jets. Anyways.
So your hat trick pick before we go.
Yes, hat trick pick. Matt Barzal.
Matt Barzal, okay. I'm going to go with David Pastrnak.
All right. David, okay. I like that. The return. 20 max. Nice. Devils, you enter the $1 20 max or the jukebox? Or the $4 20 max? Also, guys, feel free to give your hat trick predictions for tonight.
Tweet at us, throw it in the Discord, throw it in chat right now before we head out. Always curious what you guys think. Jets will move Stastny to wing and move Copp down, unfortunately.
Huh. Is Copp a natural center?
I can't see Stastny going to wing.
We'll see. Who would you pick up from free agency right now? Reimer, Bernier, or Drieger? Oh, God. Is there anyone else? Panarin with the Hattie tonight?
Panarin, okay.
6,500.
I like that.
It's kind of sneaky because he's not like a guy that usually gets hat tricks. Marshy and Duclair.
Jax is cheating. He's taking 2 guys. Typical.
What do you guys think of Zib this year so far? Should I trade? Like, trade him away or trade for him, Adam? Ehlers, nice. Yeah, I like Texier.
I like Texier too.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's going to conclude the stream. This was a long one today. It's a long slate. Hopefully we see less of these moving forward. But anyways, I appreciate everyone for tuning in today. We had decent viewers. If you guys like the stream, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be doing this almost every day. We do take Sundays off. And we're going to have some awesome content coming out to you this week. We have some new tools over on our Patreon if you want to head over there and support us as streamers, content creators. And we'll be providing you with this sheet you see here, which will be updated daily, as well as our rest of season projections. And a brand new trade tool that we just introduced today. We had some trades in the chat people were asking about. So this is something that's really helpful and will help answer a lot of your guys' questions. And any last words, Mr. Christopher?
Are you streaming tomorrow, Sunday?
No stream tomorrow, guys.
No stream tomorrow. Mike usually does some fantasy hockey stuff on Sunday, but
Super Bowl Sunday.
We're not. Super Bowl Sunday, that's true. That's a tough one to stream against there. So, let's make some money tonight, guys. Good luck. It's a big slate tonight. And thanks again for Mike for having me on. Always enjoy doing this with him. So,
yep.
If you guys again aren't in the Discord, make sure you at least get in the Discord. If not, subscribe to our Patreon. There's a lot of good stuff there as well. So,
yeah. And if you guys win some money tonight, feel free to tweet us at @fantasy_puck. We're going to be showing off some of our viewers' winnings. Clarky won 200 plus the other night, 250 plus, and I cashed over 500 on Tuesday. So we're definitely seeing a lot of success with our sheets and our projections right now. So if you guys want to hop on board, all of that's over on our Patreon.